Hello everybody, this is Alchemist2 and I'm back again with another movie review. This was actually suggested to me by my subscriber Rebel, and I had never heard of this film, but it is so much like Three Idiots that I fell head over heels in love with it. There are a lot of things that are on par with Three Idiots, which is one of my favorite Bollywood films of all time. It still remains at my top 10 of all the Bollywood films I've seen, which is kind of a small list, but it seems to be growing, as well as my Bolly library, because I'm kind of a Bolly dork. But anyway, the name of the movie is Zindagi na Milegi Dobara, and I don't know if I said that right because I don't really know that much Hindi. I learned a new word, and the word's desi, and the word in Hindi means indigenous or local. And when when the three musketeers are talking at the beginning, Kabir, Imran, and Arjun, when they're talking, they mention desi, and I thought, I don't know that word. Look up definition, desi, indigenous. And I thought, now I understand. So I know that, and I learned the definition of Bashta because I was talking to a friend of mine about Shah Rukh Khan. He didn't know who Shah Rukh Khan was. He's not into Bolly as much as I am, but it's like I'm going on a Bollywood binge as of late, and it's kind of, I should say kind of, but it's really helping me with a situation with my dad. But my dad's actually, he's faring quite well. He's very strong and resolute and pragmatic in everything he does. He's a true Leo. Anyway, the story, it centers on these three musketeers, and Kabir is the one who's getting married to Natasha, and we learn that the whole proposal thing was kind of a debacle, and he he makes up for it, and it has a happy ending. You at first you think, oh no, and it breaks your heart, but as far as I know, it ends very happily. And Imran, he has his own problems with Salman. Salman is his dad, and Salman never was in his life. He didn't really have anything to do with him. He went off at Spain, and he was an artist, and he really didn't know that much about him. Later on, there's a revolution, I should say, about that relationship, and it just is heartrending. And Arjun is just this buttoned up businessman who is rather tightly knit, and he just doesn't seem to have any sort of penchant for relaxation. And this whole trip, it's a journey of discovery for all of them. And not only that, but the scenery is absolutely magnificent. It just is spellbinding. You are mesmerized by it. Spain, oh gosh, it's gorgeous. I want to go so bad, and I'm kind of planning. I'm hoping I get to. I don't know if I'm going to, but I feel like I should, because I can understand Spanish. I speak moderately well, so I think I'd be okay. I think the people would be nice to me. Hopefully, it wouldn't hit on me too much, but I know how Latins are. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't say that, but I have a lot of Latin American friends. I know how you are. For the most part, I shouldn't make blanket statements like that. Don't flame me. But it is just a magnificent film, and you've got Imran. He falls in love with a local girl named Layla, and first heard that I thought, Layla, you got me on my knees, Layla, but not a plea, Layla, darling, won't you see I want it back, Layla. Sorry, had to, but it was just the first thing that came to my mind. Too much Eric Clapton, but interestingly enough, they all face different issues in their lives, and the things that are kind of holding them back as being authentic and their best versions. And it's a very metaphysical film. It's very existential, and it's just absolutely outstanding. And as far as movies are concerned, I thought I gotta have this in my my library, and I found one. It had Zindagi on it. It has Raw 1 and Krish 3. And I thought, I'm not really interested in Krish 3 because I don't know anybody in it, but it's not Dawn, but Raw 1, it's got my baby, my Shahrukh. So I'm looking forward to actually watching Raw 1 later on. But it had that on there, and I thought, yeah, this is definitely going to be a part of my library, because it's a similar story to that of Three Idiots, due to the fact that you've got these characters as friends, and there are times when the two others, they have a friend that's very aloof, and they're trying to pull him back and return him to what he was, and make him realize that life is about living, not existing. Why are you tying yourself to one particular thing when you could be out savoring everything and just seizing the moment? You know, carpe diem. They talk about that, and I thought, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm trying to do that. I can only do it so much with the job I have, but I do it with gusto, and I love the people I've met, and my life has really become enriched. But I feel like I'm taking another shift in my life, and I've put in an application. Please pray that this goes through. But my application, I put in for 2 new positions at the same building, and I think it would be right up my alley. But at some point in time, I feel a pull to go places and do things, meet people, and just, you know, explore and have adventures and skydive like they did in Zindagi. I thought, I want to do that. I'm crazy enough to do that. Heights don't bother me. One thing that does bother me is this sudden stop at the when you're falling from so many thousand feet above ground, and they got the sudden stop at the end, and you die. But anyway, I don't think that would be a problem. If I went with an experienced and certified skydiver, this is what I would want. I want a calculated risk. Yeah. I want to do, it's one thing I'm like, I want to do that. I really do. I know, it's insane. I really want to skydive. I think, oh, that looks like so much fun. And I want to parasail. That's another thing I want to try. Sailing, I've done. I love sailing. It's so very zen. One of my favorite activities that I haven't had a chance to do. When I retire, I'm getting my own boat. And it's going to be named, what am I going to name my boat? My boat is going to be named Pearl of Conquest. Yeah, I think, yeah, Pearl of Conquest is going to be my boat, because I think that's the best name, because it's poetic, and, you know, I finally got my pearl, but she's waiting for me. I'm going to get that pearl, but I just thought that looked like, I thought, oh my god, that's so awesome. Yeah, I want to try that. I want to surf, I want to parasail, I want to, what else do I want to do? Windsurfing, yeah, same thing. I want to try that. Skydive. I want to zip line. I want to zip line so bad, and I'm thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but my birthday is coming up in November, and that's one thing I want to do. I mean, I want to do more things that are kind of fun, because, you know, life is short. I don't have anybody to go with me. Who cares? I mean, I'm going to do it for myself, because I feel like I owe myself, and, you know, I've given myself a back seat too often, and I need to be a little bit more selfish. Sorry. But, you know, this movie taught me a lot, and it really hit close to home, because I thought it's speaking to me, and it was so strange. It was kind of a surreal moment. For one thing, like I said, I want to go to Spain. Every movie I see, like Big Fat Greek Wedding, first time I saw that, My Life in Ruins, I want to go to Greece. I really want to go, because I feel connection. I only have one friend there now. The other friend I had really wasn't a friend. I was in love with him. Unfortunately, he only wanted to use me. No, I'm not up for that. I am not looking for that kind of relationship. I am looking for a spiritual connection with somebody, an intellectual and spiritual connection. It's kind of hard to come by, but I know it'll happen. And when it does, I will realize it, and it'll dawn on me. But No, I haven't found that yet, but it'll happen sooner or later. But anyway, I see all these films, and I really want to go to these different places. Like India is one that I really, duh, of course, because I'm a Hindu wani. Yeah, I'm using my own word. Imagine that. If you want to know what Hindwani is, I actually, it's my word, but I'm gonna do a quick synopsis of this, but I wrote a Bollywood script, and the songs are on YouTube. Shameless plug, but a Hindwani is a person, and I'm not, 100% Hindwani. I'm probably only 50%. But Hindwani is a person who is non-Desi, but they love India quite a bit. They love the food, they love the culture, they love the people. They just love it to bits. I guess it would be Hindophilia as well, as would be another good definition of this. But they go to the extreme of even learning Hindi, just because they want to. It's just like me with my semi obsession of Greece and learning Greek. But yeah, that's a Hindu wani. Kind of like a weeaboo. A weeaboo is like an otaku. A weeaboo is a little bit more extra. I am kind of a weeaboo myself. I'm not an extreme weeaboo, but I admit to it. I love Japan as well, but I'm just a Nippon filio. Nippon philiac, I should say. Nippon philiac. Nippon is Japan. Hey, I made another word. Nippon philia. Yay me. But anywho, this movie, thank you, Rebel, for suggesting that this songs I absolutely adore. And I was kind of surprised because usually in Hindi films, you don't have people kissing. You get a lot of that in this. You don't have people swearing. You get a little bit of that in this as well. It's a little bit more modern. I like the fact that it's a little bit more modern. Actually, the swearing, didn't really offend me all that much. It was in the context, made sense. And it was funny. I mean, like Three Idiots, it was so funny. I mean, I was just laughing my butt off at some of the scenes. They had the Tomatillo Festival, which I want to go to. Running of the Bulls, count me out. I know, because, you want to go skydiving. Why don't you go run with the Bulls? No, I know better. I really don't want to do that, but I would watch. I mean, I would probably watch from a safe place. Yeah, this is kind of contradictory. Hypocritical person I am, but yeah, I'm, like I said, I'm multifaceted like a diamond. A little rough around the edges, but a lot of different angles. I shine and I sparkle. But I love this movie. This movie was absolutely outstanding. I'm glad I'm going to put it in my library and keep it forever and share it with whomever comes into my pathway and say, sit down, watch this film. You'll learn something, and yeah, you will. But that's about all I have to report other than what I've been writing. I've got more things down the pike. Recently, I just published on Blogger Fancy Footwork, which the idea itself was from my beloved Thriller Terrain, whom I'm kind of wondering about him. I've known him for 10 years online, and I don't know if anybody out there has any advice, but I'm wanting him to come so I can at least get to know him better and see if it's meant to be, because I feel like he could be the one, and I'm hoping that it is. If it's not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, but because there is somebody out there for me. I have to be patient. I've waited 36 years, but that's kind of that's just a short amount of time. Feels like I've just been asleep for a little bit. Anyway, Zindagi, for me, it gets 2 thumbs way up, 5 stars, hands down. No kvetching, no complaining, no no bickering or anything. There weren't anything. There was nothing that I could have said that was inconsistent, and it was just a beautiful film. And the whole enlightenment, it was a road of enlightenment, and the poetry, of course I love the poetry. I related to Imran, even though he's the poet in the group, so yeah, I fixated on that. And I guess I could relate to all the characters. You know, we all go through transitions in our lifetime where we don't really know, we're not comfortable with ourselves, so we realize there has to be a shift of consciousness of ourselves. Yeah, deep philosophy there coming right at you. But we come to a point in our lives where we go through, all of us go through this. I'm going through it right now, and it's, yeah, this is very expanding for me, but I realize that it comes to us all, and I'm a late bloomer, but this film just it just opened me up, and I'm glad for that. And for Rebel, thank you for doing this. You are a doll, and I appreciate it. Thank you. That's all I have to say for now. Until next time, live long, prosper. Ciao, tutti.